Further down on the grid, that is number 82, which is Lei Jingwen. He is 17th on the grid. Number 37 is a repaired car, because yesterday in the wall was Zhou Yunji, who's been racing in the Guangdong International Circuit Touring Car Open Series before coming into TCR Asia. But it was a big off that he had yesterday, did a lot of damage to the rear of the car on the first lap.
And you say about the bright and colourful liveries, very shiny liveries in this part of the world. We have over in the UK, in Europe, racing around Europe, we're sort of in the matte finish, aren't we? With the matte wrap is very often a choice of livery. Over here, couldn't be more bright and shiny, and with Christmas pretty much around the corner, many of the hotels already dressing their hotel lobbies with Christmas trees and lights and all that kind of thing. I reckon Macau at Christmas time is something very special. You can say you light up the city, well, it's lit up for most of the year. So what do they do?
Tony Chan had an off in qualifying, but he starts this race 22nd on the grid with the Norris Racing Honda Civic. We're up to the FK7 Civic these days in TCR. Rule set, 97 there, is Yang Haojia, and his is another of the Z-Speed run Hyundai Elantra N TCRs. 72, you can see, that is Zhou Houwen, and Zhou Houwen lining up 24th on the grid. 25th will be Chen Chan Lung in another of the Honda Civics. That's the older FK2 shape, the slightly more bulbous shape, and then all being well, the grid would be completed, and it is, by Yuan Chao, who was late arriving, but is there. So we've got the full complement of 26, despite the fact that we had a few battered cars either yesterday or Friday or Thursday, because it's been a bruising weekend. But the teams have worked wonders to get everything right for then our China Touring Car Championship race.
Good work by the camera crew. They got right the way down the grid. Everyone got the chance to say hello to the world, because the whole world watches Macau on Grand Prix Day. Quite a few of them watch on free practice day, on qualifying day, and on qualifying race day. But it's Grand Prix day now, and wherever you are in the world, a very good morning to you. Fast approaching 8:20 in the morning, local time here at Macau. The sunshine glinting off the water over the far side of the paddock. I've watched some onboard footage as well from motorcycles yesterday, and this and the sunshine this time in the morning is a problem.
Is it?
Yeah, it's there is the most incredible footage from Peter Hickman. It's a helmet cam.
Oh my word.
And honestly, you've got no idea until you watch it. I ended up very anxious after watching a lap of the
Even though you knew the result.
Even though I knew the result, he had an advantage of umpteen seconds at the end of the race yesterday, but boy oh boy. And the one thing that you do really notice is at this time in the morning just how distracting that light is on certain corners, particularly down into Lisboa.
Well, it is a wake-up call, this, isn't it? A 20 past 8 green flag lap. The car's on the formation lap now to get some warmth into the rubber, ready for this 30-minute or 9-lap race. And with the semi-reverse grid, it's going to be really interesting to see what progress the drivers from the back end of that top 10 can make, and also whether or not Max Hart could score a first win in the championship. The Irish driver starting on pole position. This is the round out of Reservoir, the first left-hander. The fast straight that they are coming down, this 4-lane dual carriageway, 2 lanes either direction in the normal circumstances, takes you towards Mandarin, which sometimes you think is a kink, but it's a full-on corner, and it is dauntingly fast. And then you come down to Lisboa, and that camera shot, as we've been saying over the weekend, doesn't really do the corner justice, because you are hammering down this straight. There are barriers on either side, and you've no idea really where the corner is. You're looking for a gap in the arm curve. By the time you've found it, you've got to brake, and it's almost too late. So
with the sunshine in the eyes going down towards Lisboa at this exact time from yesterday morning in the motorcycle race, I understand one of the top riders was finding the braking point, so he had a marker for the braking point, and then couldn't quite see the right-hander at Lisboa, so was counting to 3 and then turning because of the sunshine.
Wow.
That's special, isn't it?
Breed apart.
Yeah.
Anybody that can race around Macau, 4 wheels or 2, they're special. And we've seen over the weekend how people absolutely click with the circuit, and some just do not.
But what if you counted to 3 quicker on this lap than you did on the previous lap? you'd have to have a metronomic brain to be able to do that.
You brake harder.
Yeah. Yeah. And longer.
That's it. Yes, yes. So Max Hart, the pole position driver in the car run by the Z-Speed team. And Max started off in Formula V in Ireland. He was the champion. He came to England to race monoposto single-seaters, and then he's also had a spell in Asian Formula 4. He's raced in the UK TCR Championship, and last year had a couple of wins. He was 8th in TCR UK, and like Jack Young, has decided to switch to this part of the world to try to make a name for himself within touring car racing. Second on the grid, David Zhu, who is a previous champion in TCR China. Won it last year. He's a China Endurance champion, Chinese touring car champion, China GT champion, the Asia Geely Formula champion. He's raced in Europe in Formula 2, the MSV iteration of Formula 2. But this year, by his high standards, not had a great season, only 1 win, 3 third places, and he's 4th in the championship, but not necessarily the best of seasons for David Zhu. 3rd on the grid, 17 is Yang Zhaowei, who's been a TCR Asia regular. 5th in this championship 2 years ago, but only 15th in the points coming to Macau. And then 55, 4th on the grid, is Martin Shea, and he 5th in the championship coming to the weekend. 3 second places. And Martin Shea, who won the 2012 China Touring Car Championship, has a UK link, in as much as he spent some time at Imperial College in London, where he studied motorsport engineering. So Martin Shea doesn't just drive a car quickly, he knows how to engineer it as well. And he will start 4th on the grid as the cars now make their way out of Fisherman's Bend up towards our bend, which is the last corner on the lap. That straight, again, the camera kind of foreshortens it. When you go on board, you realise actually how long that straight is.
Yeah, they get quite a bit of speed up on this part of the circuit. It's the circuit with every possible feature that you could ask for. It's got tight corners, well, the tightest corner I've ever seen around the Macau hairpin. It's quite incredible, really, that it is under constant yellow throughout the course of the weekend, irrelevant of what happens out on circuit. No overtaking at the Macau hairpin, so the tightest corner that I think I know of. And as they thread their way out of Macau hairpin, the circuit opens up. It gets quicker and quicker and quicker, and that's the final part of the circuit. And getting a good exit from the hairpin ensures a good final part of the circuit, and therefore a good run down towards Lisboa, which is a critical part of the circuit as far as overtaking is concerned. It's just and therefore it's also got the biggest grandstand I've ever seen in my life as well on the outside of the run down towards Lisboa, with good reason. Cars are lining up. Last few rows are getting in place. This is our second and final race of the weekend for the China Touring Car Championship, the Macau Touring Car Cup.
To the grid they come then. Pole position for Max Hart in the white Hyundai. When you see number 9, which is David Zhu, you'll know that's the car on the outside of the front row, and then to his right is the pole car with Max Hart. Then the last car into position, which is Ren Chao. Triggers the green flag at the back. 5 lights will go red, and when the lights go out any second to get the race underway now, it is a good start by Max Hart and a dreadful getaway by David Zhu. Look, he staggers off the line, and around the outside of him goes Martin Shea, and Jack Young gets up the inside also. Really good start by Jack Young, number 77 Honda. He gets up the inside, heading into reservoir for the first time. Now, where did that put him in the final analysis? 4th. He's on the tail, look, of number 17 of Yang Zhaowei as they come down towards us, make that 5th. In fact, he's got a bit blocked by David Zhu, and he's on the outside of his nemesis of yesterday, Zhang Zhendong, as they come out then of Mandarin for the first time. This is the long, fast run down towards Lisboa. The first pinch point comes right here. 1 or 2 feint to the inside line to try to make progress, including Martin Tao, number 7, and he gains ground on the inside as they wriggle their way through for the first time.
Everybody through Lisboa, just about. Let's see the whole of the field go through. I think we've got away with that, so that's the pinch point down at Lisboa. You're quite right too, and a very, very good start by Max Hart. Impressive stuff that. Also a good start by the 55 car from the outside of the second row of the grid for Martin Shea, and yeah, just unfortunately David Zhu not getting off the line quite as well as he would have expected. As we did predict, Jack Young wants to make this race count. Whatever he can do, he needs to win this race. He has to win this race, and by Jove, he'll be doing his very best to do so.
It was a good start, but then I think he got a bit boxed in the traffic, so we'll see where he runs at the end of the lap. But Max Hart here is trying to make good his escape, isn't he? Pushing on, he's got the road ahead of him, so he's the pioneer at every corner. The race start is under investigation, however. David Zhu is still there, look, number 9, on the tail of Andre Couto as they come up the hill. Actually, I think Jack Young has dropped back a little bit further than anticipated. He has. He got well and truly stuck in the traffic. I think he's gone back off the 6th starting place rather than going forward. Even though he was off the line well, I think he got hung out to dry on the outside, coming down towards Lisboa, and that's cost him dear. Oh
dear, this is maybe not the weekend that Jack Young is going to look back favourably upon, but everybody did want to be 3rd place going into Lisboa, and if you want to win the race, then you've got to finish the race. And maybe Jack Young was thinking discretion is the better part of valour. Let's be patient during this race and not do everything on the opening lap.
Well, Max Hart is coming under attack, isn't he, now? Because on his tail is the man that was 2nd yesterday on the amended result of Martin Shea. So down he comes into our bend, and Max Hart, yes, is definitely being caught there now as they come up towards the timing line. The gap between them as they cross the stripe is next to nothing at all. It's 0.3 of a second, but look, Martin Shea in 2nd place has got a toe, and now the move to try and get the lead at Lisboa is on, because he's in the wheel tracks. 3rd is Yang Zhaowei, 4th is Andre Couto, 5th is David Zhu, 6th is Martin Tao, and there to the inside line, feints, Martin Shea comes out, has a look and tucks back in again. Jack Young 9th at the end of the opening lap. That is not what he needed at all, and so Martin Tao is on target to win a championship. Max Hart, good job. He's repelled the challenge of Martin Shea, and he's hung on to the race lead.
He's got to do it around Lisboa. Is he going to do so? He's got the inside line, keeps it neat, keeps it tidy.
And a good pass there on the inside by Martin Tao, gets up the inside of David Zhu. So Martin Tao is going the right way here to win a championship, isn't he?
Certainly is, yeah. The final round of the China Touring Car Championship. I wonder what touring car drivers think when they've had a great season, and maybe this circuit is not for them, because it is for extremely brave drivers, but it's the final round of the year and you've got to make it count. And as far as Jack Young's finale is concerned, this has not been the greatest of weekends. Very disappointing. You said a drop right the way down the order, 9th at the end of lap number 1, so losing 3 places. But seemed to get off the line pretty well, which is what was required, but then got swallowed up going down into the first pinch point down at Lisboa. Meanwhile, Max Hart, few people said to me, keep an eye out for Max over this weekend, because he'll be good. And so far, he really has been. They turn right into police, and he's under pressure, isn't he? Because Martin G is right there in 55 in 2nd place. As they thread their way through, they're coming towards the final few elements of the hill section on the circuit. That includes the left-hand at Donna Maria, which is where they're going now, up towards the Macau hairpin. No overtaking there. Let's see what else we can pick out of interest here. Martin Chow, or to give him his full name, Tao Hongwei, is in 6th place and has just put in the overall best in the 3rd sector.
So he is ahead of his championship rival Jack Young, so all he's got to do now is just bring it home. The championship is his. Max Hart maintaining a modest gap over Martin Shea then as they come through, so it's the Irishman in the lead. In 2nd place is the Chinese driver, and that is Martin Shea, and the two of them have got this gap over Yang Zhaowei in 3rd place. He in turn is under attack from the next Mac Pro Honda, so teammate to Martin Shea. Andre Couto it is in 4th place, but the top two coming through still tied together, and then a bit of a gap before the next battle pack of Yang, Couto, and then up into 5th place now is Martin Tao. So he's continuing to make progress. Also ahead of David Zhu now is Zhang Zhendong. Jack Young is really struggling in comparison because he's dropped off the back of that group.
And this is quite interesting as well, watching Max Hart defending from somebody so close behind in the form of the 55 car of Martin Shea. And it was pretty much what Rob Huff had to do yesterday. Every time going into Lisboa, having to keep that neat, tidy, tight line into Lisboa. They all want to be 3rd, and that's not going to work, and it hasn't.
Andre Couto is off, Jack Young is off with nowhere to go, but I think also involved in that was Martin Tao. So now the battered Hyundai is heading up the hill. If Jack Young can get himself out of the mess, he can carry on in the race. Now here's the replay. Look, up the inside goes Tao. He tries to get past Yang Zhaowei. He's over the curb. He's over the front of the Elantra. He bounces into Couto and puts him in the wall. But look, there's damage to the Hyundai. I think he's down the suspension. And then Jack Young has his own moment. He's all locked up. He's got nowhere to go. And so two Macro Hondas headbutt the wall at Lisboa. Martin Tau had just done the fastest lap of the race, but he's now got a very battered car and he's limping through the second sector.
No one wants a championship to be decided in that way. And 3 abreast into Lisboa was never going to work. It was always going to be a bad result, and it has been a bad result. At the moment, we've only got one car that needs to be recovered from the barrier at the exits of Lisboa, but there's a fair bit of debris on the circuit down there as well, so potentially the marshals will need to go to work. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Max Hart, bear in mind that although they are competing for the China Touring Car Championship and the championship title, they are maybe more importantly today competing for the trophy that is the Macau Touring Car Cup and the huge prestige that goes with it. So Max Hart at the moment is well on course for that.
He's on target for the race win, but we need to see Martin Tau's situation. He is still going, but he is limping, and he might be able to carry on in the race. He might be bound for the pit lane. It depends really whether the suspension was really tweaked, or whether it was just the bodywork making it look like the suspension was tweaked. Certainly the rear wing was knocked off. Jack Young had just done, by the way, an absolute best in the first sector, but then he couldn't get the car slowed down as he arrived at Lisboa and found the road narrowed, and as he locked up, he went straight on. The lead gap has stretched then now. It's over a second, Hart to Xi, and Lisboa has been sorted, so the green flag is now shown. So there are the top 2. In 3rd place is Yang Zhaowei, ahead of Zhang Zhendong in 4th. Up into 5th is David Zhu. Up into 6th is Jason Zhang. 7th now is Andy Yan. 8th is Rainy Hay. And into the pit lane comes the championship leader. Martin Tau is into the pits. That's going to give 9th to Yui Fan, and into the top 10 will now come Sunny Wong. Jack Young is into 11th place. What a shame, down into pit lane. By the way, we were wondering about Jack Young's car and whether it was going to be okay, although he has lost positions, not surprisingly. He put in a personal best in the 3rd sector, so that would suggest that maybe the car is okay. And another car's just got up the escape road at Lisboa. I had a feeling it might have been a Hyundai, looking at the livery, just a very quick glimpse, so possibly Andy Yan has had a moment. We'll see. The lead gap, though, Alan, has come down a little bit, hasn't it? So now 2 quick sectors by Martin Xi has brought him back into the game. Yeah, on the tight and twisty section, that gap has come right the way down. So Max Hart once again has to be defensive when he gets to the open part of the circuit, down through Mandarin and on the run down towards Lisboa. Needs to keep it absolutely inch perfect. On this part of the circuit, he just needs to keep it without mistake. And when he gets under pressure, Jack Young has just put an overall best sector in sector 2. So purple for Jack Young. He's down there in 12th place. The car is okay. It's very okay. A purple in sector 2 for Jack Young. That is champion-elect, would you believe, with the damaged car sitting in the pit lane. But to lose the championship, he would need Jack Young to win the race, and that's not going to happen. So through goes Max Hart. There in 2nd spot, Martin Xi. That gap has been somewhat elasticated over this lap, but last time around, Max did the fastest lap of the race, a 2:31.1, and he comes out of the Melco hairpin. It doesn't really matter if he's caught on the mountain section, does it, as such, the hill course, because now, when he starts to open up the Elantra pace again, this is where he would be in jeopardy, because there is the width of the road. So it doesn't matter if you're caught in the twisty, hilly section, because your opponent hasn't got the width of the road to get past you, unless you make a mistake. But here, you are in jeopardy. There is room to overtake, and that's where you need to be quick. Number 9, David Zhu. He's yo-yoed up and down the order after that duff start, and right now he is in 5th place. Can I ask the question again, is Jack Young going okay? Please do. Is he going okay? Yes, he is. Sector 2, overall best. Sector 4, overall best. We can stop worrying about the car, and we can stop worrying, I think, a little bit about Jack Young, because he's got his head down, doing what he does. He's done it from a very, very early age, coming into saloon car racing at the age of 17 years old. He was quick immediately. He was competitive immediately. He was determined immediately. That's what we need today. And an overall best lap for Jack Young. So climbs up another couple of places. He's up to 10th, a 2:33. And you've just seen Andy Yan go ahead of David Zhu. So it wasn't Andy Yan that I thought had gone up the escape road at Lisboa. And here, diving up the inside, Zhang Zhendong Dong goes ahead of Yang Xiaowei for third place, but then Yang comes back at him on the inside, going up to San Francisco. They're side by side and back through goes Yang Xiaowei on the inside. You're not meant to be able to overtake that. That was great racing.
No one told them. No one told them. Side by side into San Francisco, up San Francisco Hill.
I've never seen a car breathe in, but Yang Xiaowei's car did, and it went through.
Oh, super action at San Francisco Hill. We've seen it on a very few occasions going around San Francisco, but that was very exciting indeed. Great racing from the Macau Touring Car Cup. They've got the hang of this after qualifying, haven't they?
I was just thinking the same thing. This is a proper touring car race. Good racing, good overtaking, and there's been one, significant drama down at Lisboa, for which Martin Tao is under investigation. But, that's inevitable. There's a little bit of bodywork hanging off the side of Yang Xiaowei's car, and he's still under attack from Zhang Zhengdong. But this is a great fight between the two, as it is for the lead. That gap having come down again. Look now, third, nose to tail. They could hardly be closer, heading up to Moorish.
Absolutely superb little battle this, and to just keep an eye on what our leader is doing. Max Hart just put in an overall best briefly in Sector 3. That has been taken away from the fast charging Jack Young. He's down there in 10th place. Car number 77 has gone purple in Sector 2, purple in Sector 3. He's already got the fastest lap of the race, but this is determination for Jack Young for sure.
If he can't win the race, if he can't win the championship, he at least wants to prove that he has mastered Macau, and I think you can safely say that he has done that, can't you? As the leaders then now accelerate once more down towards our bend. In yesterday's race, the best lap was a 2:31.2 by Andy Yan, so Jack Young has done the best lap of the weekend. Over the timing line goes Max Hart, goes Martin Shi behind him. The gap is stretched again to 1.2 seconds. We've got 4 laps to go then as they start lap number 6 now. There are the 2 race leaders. And where's anybody else? Look at the gap they've pulled over here. 3rd, 4th, 5th going through. Yang Xiaowei, Zhang Zhengdong, and Andy Yan is back with them. And then it's Jason Zhang in 6th place.
To look at the gap, it's 12 seconds that the top 2 have got over the 3rd place battle. Now, admittedly, that's because the battle for 3rd place is pretty strong, and they are having to defend and attack and defend and attack, and all of that has allowed the race leaders to pull away, and Jack Young has just put in another fastest lap of the race at 2:29.876. And bear in mind that 3 of those sectors weren't even personal best sectors. There were 2 sectors that were overall best times, but Jack Young going very nicely indeed. He's in 10th place.
And he's on the tail now of Wui Fan, so he's looking for track position if he can find it. This fight for 3rd is growing because Yang Xiaowei, Zhang Zhengdong have been caught by Andy Yan. Jason Zhang in the best of the Lincoln Co's is not that far behind either. There it is, the red and white Shell Teamwork Lincoln Co Racing entry of Jason Zhang. It is, and they've had lots of guests here to watch over the course of the weekend. Our hotel was a sea of red and white last night when I walked into the bar because all the guests were still there at the end of a good day, and looking forward to seeing what the Lincoln Co's can do. They've not had the most successful of weekends, but it's a really popular team, and the Lincoln Co, a very popular car in the region.
Our hotel must have elastic walls because there's an awful lot of teams staying there, isn't there?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like many of the hotels, having special rooftop viewing areas for fans. Drama at Lisboa, 2 more in the wall. A Lincoln Co with broken suspension, Honda up against the barrier, and that, by the look of it, is the FK2 Honda of Chan Chen Leung. So it was 88 Aaron Kwok that ran wide and glanced the Honda as he came back, and that stuffs into the wall Chan Chen Leung. He was the innocent party in all of that, and that was Aaron Kwok who just ran a little bit wide. We've got the safety car triggered, and the race then is going to be neutralised, and this is going to really make it interesting on the resumption of the race. But you've got to feel a bit for Chan Chen Leung there because he was the innocent party, but it shows how innocuous seemingly a bit of contact can be to suddenly create quite a big accident.
Yeah, you can rarely get away with contact around the gear circuit here at Macau because the barriers invite you in as the runoff area, and they are unforgiving, to be absolutely precise about it, around Macau. And every driver comes here to Macau knowing that they haven't got the large runoff areas, they haven't got gravel traps, they only have barriers. So even if it's just a glancing blow, the chances are you're going to break something on the car, and that's game over.
So Aaron Kwok is out of the race then. There you can see the car parked, but this is going to take a bit more retrieval because it is midway between the corners where there isn't an easy crane and there's lots of debris to sweep off the road. So Aaron Kwok, former Clio Cup China champion, out of the race. And the other car is that of Victor Chan Lung, and the Norris Racing Honda needing to be removed. So that, I'm afraid, is another delay within the race.
It's one of the best quotes we get from race control, that all cars between turns 3 and 4 need to keep to the right-hand side of the circuit. There isn't an awful lot of option. It's pretty tight on the run down for Lisboa. It's only a sort of double carriageway, if you like, so it does get fairly tight. That's the problem when you have contact through Lisboa. You haven't got an awful lot of tarmac on the run out of the corner, so that's where the car has been stricken just before the right-hander at San Francisco. Up the hill you go after negotiating that. Not normally an overtaking point on the circuit, but as proven in this race, in a touring car, you can do a few different things in a touring car. There are some tight and twisty sections that we've seen in the gear race before, namely Rob Hupper's done it. You can squeeze a car through, you can overtake, but it's not a regular overtaking position.
It's done a remarkable amount of damage, that, hasn't it? Just looking at the front of that Honda, you know, it's not the fastest part of the circuit, but it's gone in hard and it's suffered a lot of damage. So it's going to take a lap or so, I think, to sort all this out.
It will. We have completed 6 laps. It's a 9-lap race, so they're on lap 7. 3 laps to go, well, 2.5 laps with the lap that they are on behind the safety car, and the marshals attend.
But bear in mind, yesterday we had 2 laps added on. So we can be adding laps on. I think it's a maximum of 2.
It's a championship rule,
the championship regulation. Yeah. A little bit like the British Touring Car Championship, for example, allows 3 to be added on. So there is that provision because, of course, here there is the danger that you might get quite a bit of an interruption to the race.
Yes. So I think we should have a word for Max Hart in all of this.
Agreed.
He has driven superbly so far. He is a young driver to watch and certainly has mastered the gear circuit here at Macau. Given the opportunity of starting on pole position, he has taken that opportunity with open arms and he has not put a wheel wrong. Jack Young on the previous lap in 9th place. Had been putting fastest laps of the race of Jack Young. And the other thing that we need to point out from race control, it was noted they were investigating the start, and the notice come through that no further action to be taken on the start of the race.
So they're the cars circulating, as Alan's been saying, on lap 7. The only other element to bear in mind in all of this is that there is a time limit, which is half an hour. So we've got about 12 minutes, 11 or 12 minutes, just under 12 minutes still to go. There is a bit more slack in the timetable today because there's always the longer break before the GT race and an even longer break before the Grand Prix itself, the Macau Grand Prix, Formula 3 Grand Prix, to allow for the Lion and Dragon dance and the introduction of the drivers and the arrival of the dignitaries. So the timetable is a little bit easier today. And then come 6 o'clock, the roads are opened again. And for another year, Macau goes about its business. There will be echoes of the Grand Prix with all the barriers and the colours, but then it'll start to be rebuilt around about mid-October next year.
I have stayed once for the Monday and taken the Monday evening flight back, and I didn't like it. I didn't like seeing everything returned to normality again for another year. I don't like the morning after a gig, and this is a pretty big gig.
It is. And it's done so well. I mean, again, I'm not just saying that because we're here and we're enjoying the event, but you know, when you consider making a street circuit work anyway, when you consider this circuit, because of the nature of it and the number of incidents, it just works. You know, we've had yesterday at one point, because of accidents and incidents in the bike Grand Prix at the start of the day, we were 40 minutes behind, and yet they caught up.
Yes.
The recovery crews are exemplary. I mean, at some events in Europe or in the UK, you're waiting and waiting and waiting for a recovery vehicle to get to a car. Here, within seconds, the thing's in the air and craned out of the way. I know cranes help, but equally it's the urgency with which people address the situation to keep things moving, to get racing back underway. There are lots of people involved in the event, I'll grant you that, but a big team here makes it work.
Some of the security teams that are stationed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week during this period, they've got little tents so they can sleep overnight. They can do it in shifts, and they sleep literally by the roadside. The marshals here, we heard them this morning as we were walking in, laughing and joking down at a couple of the turns, and taking photographs of the team that they've been working with over the course of these days. So too in the paddock this morning, some of the staff that work on the organisational side taking a big team photo, because you know, they've been here for 2 weeks now. It's a celebration of 70 years of the Macau Grand Prix, so therefore 2 days racing last weekend. They become your working family, don't they? And
that's right.
They might not see each other for another 360 whatever days it is.
I was going to say the Honda is out of harm's way.
Not really.
It's a bit precarious, that, but at least it's been moved. So it only has to go a little distance, I think, and then it can go left off to the next access point. But yeah, the car has been swiftly put on the back of the flatbed, but it's not quite as precise as oft you see. But at the moment, the marshals are attending to any liquid, any debris, and the barriers that may well have taken a whack as well. The arrow there is to say, go around the recovery vehicle. There
is just enough room to squeeze through a touring car. Not sure we get a GT3 car through there, but certainly a touring car.
Get a bus through there, mate.
It'll be fine. And they do get a bus through there.
Exactly.
Every day of the week, a bus goes around the Macau hairpin, and I still shudder to think how they do that. They are incredible streets around Macau, and they lend themselves so beautifully to this circuit, which is, for today, the eyes of the motorsport world will be on Macau.
You can get a bus round the Macau hairpin, LOL, which stands for lot of lock. Now, this, in replay, was what happened coming down towards Lisboa, and this is where we lost Victor Chan, number 27. Aaron Kwok up the inside. He struggles to make the corner, but he does. But then just clips the back of the Honda, fires it into the barrier as Victor Chan was on the throttle. So he was accelerating out of the corner, got fired into the barrier, got hit again by Aaron Kwok, whose suspension is deranged. Aaron Kwok limps on, but Victor Chan's Honda, the innocent party in all of that, but as he was back on the accelerator, suddenly got fired off, left a big hit into the barrier. But the good news is that the safety car will be in this time.
That is good news indeed, and they have completed now 7 laps of a 9-lap race. Now on our timing screen, we haven't had laps added on. We're looking also at the time, which is on 23 minutes, so maybe that's the reason.
Okay, let's see. Could also be that that decision is taken once the race is back underway, but we'll keep an eye to all of this as the drivers make the run now towards our bend. They've all bunched up. It is up to the leader to control the pace, but you need to be within 5 lengths of the car ahead. That's what did for Andy Yan yesterday. He dropped back to protect his teammate Martin Tao and let him build a gap over everybody else. That bit worked, so it didn't really matter about the penalty in a sense because he was being sacrificed anyway. Max Hart nails the throttle now then and accelerates out of our bend up towards the line. Green flag shown here at Macau, and the gear circuit echoes to touring cars once more. It is Max Hart ahead of Martin Shi and then Yan Zhaowei in 3rd place. This is the final lap. It comes up on the timing screen. The last lap of the race is underway, so it's a 1-lap shootout. Can Max Hart hang on in there for one more lap of 6 kilometres in length? Not if Martin Shi has a say in it.
Martin Shi went right with him. He was right on the tail of Max Hart when the green flag fell, and the pedal was accentuated by the race leader. So Max Hart it is that leads. Martin Shi on the outside as they go down towards Lisboa. Under braking, they avoid each other. Wow, that was a moment. Martin Shi on the outside going through Lisboa, avoided contact with Max Hart, and that's really good to see. But boy, did Max come under a huge amount of pressure there.
And also, Yan Zhaowei has jumped right onto the tail of Martin Shi. They almost touched coming out of Lisboa. So close did Yan get to the back of Martin Shi's car, but that's all helping now. Max Hart get away. So he can't breathe a sigh of relief here because it's the narrow part of the circuit. Crash in the background, somebody in the wall. Yellow flags are out. Somebody has gone wide out of camera shot and hit the wall on the outside of the corner. It doesn't really affect things on the last lap of the race anyway, but Max Hart leads the way. I was trying to say he can't breathe a sigh of relief, but he knows he won't be overtaken on this section, so he can afford to be a bit more cautious, bearing in mind the tyres have dropped in temperature and pressure. And then at the end of the lap, coming out of Melco, that's when he needs to try and pull away to make sure he's not under attack. But early on in the race, remember, Max Hart was really impressive on cold tyres.
He's really impressive this time after the restart because he's got a little bit of a gap before Martin Shi is there. Martin Shi was under a bit of pressure there on the first part of this twisty section.
And David Zhu is the driver that has, I think, hit the wall. Let's see if this tells us anything. There he is, he's sideways. Jack Young was involved with him, so Jack Young has been delayed. It was David Zhu that bounced off the barriers, but he has got going again.
So Jack Young continued on his way. He's in 9th place. He also put in the fastest lap after fastest lap during this race. But I wonder, as Martin G's opportunity to take the top step of the podium now gone? Was it just that opportunity down at Lisboa? He tried to do it. He did everything he could, but Max Hart held his nerve, didn't he? Very, very impressively as well. And Max Hart has driven a brilliant race for the Macau Touring Car Cup here, the first race of the day on Grand Prix Day, the 70th Macau Grand Prix weekend. Max Hart comes up towards the checkered flag. He gets the first win of the day, and a superlative drive by Max Hart to take the first win of today.
Great drive by Max Hart then. He takes the checkered flag to win by just over a second from Xi Zhangji, or Martin Xi if you prefer, in 2nd place, and then Yang Zhaowei hanging on to 3rd after that good battle that he had with Zhang Zhendong. Andy Yan taking 5th ahead of Jason Zhang, Rainy Hay in 7th, 8th Wu Yifan. Sunny Wong taking 9th, 10th was Lin Chenhua, 11th Louis Chen, 12th David Zhu, 13th Zhu Wanji. You'll notice I've not got to Jack Young yet, who has only yet to come across the line. So I think the damage that he picked up in that drama means that he's limping to the line. He may even have to end the race in the pit lane. But Jack Young, really tough weekend. We're getting a replay there of a big, big lose for number 86 of Jiang Nan. That was at Donna Maria.
The place that I said, very rarely do we have problems at Donna Maria.
And yet we've had quite a lot ever since you said it, just to make a liar out of you.
I'll never say it again.
No, indeed. Jack Young did finish his season in the pit lane, so big, big disappointment, but I think I'm right in saying that he has kept the fastest lap of the race. Yes, he has. So the consolation prize is that Jack Young takes the best lap record for the championship around here. He represented Ireland in the FIA Motorsport Games last year, but he's under a British flag this weekend, and it is the Irish driver Max Hart who will be on the top step of the podium. And it is excellent to see such a good drive by Max Hart. Martin Xi taking 2nd, and then Yang Zhaowei in 3rd spot as the drivers make their way now around to the Parc Fermé area. Then they will go to the podium. There'll be a press conference for these drivers as well. And Max Hart will be absolutely delighted, because that, bear in mind, isn't just his first win at Macau, it's his first win in the championship. So the absolutely perfect place to score your first TCR China victory. Martin Xi taking 2nd spot, and Yang Zhaowei in 3rd, as the drivers now make their way, as I say, through Melco, then on towards the pit lane, where already the scrutineering officials are preparing, and the photographers are there ready to snap a very happy Max Hart. So this is the provisional result. Max Hart taking the win from Martin Xi, and then in 3rd place Yang Zhaowei. Zhang Zhendong in 4th ahead of Andy Yan. Jason Zhang 6th from Rainy Hay, Wu Yifan in 8th, Sunny Wong 9th after a tough qualifying, and then Lin Chenhua in 10th place. 11th was Louis Chen, David Zhu ahead of Zhu Yanji in 13th place. He was 14th was Felipe de Souza, who won last year's Gia race but has been a bit anonymous this weekend. In 5th place it was Tony Chan, 16th was Zhou Yunji, and Jack Young, fastest lap, but not being classified as he retired to the pit lane.
Into pit lane they go then, and our first race of the day complete. And although we had a couple of bruises and one safety car intervention during that race, if we compare it to the amount of stoppages that we had to have during qualifying, I think they've all got to grips with the gear circuit very, very well indeed. It's something special when you make your first visit and you end up on the top step of the podium, and therefore Max Hart can afford to have quite a celebration down in Parc Fermé. They will be going through the technical checks, the cars will be weighed, and then they'll be taken straight away just across the paddock in order to get ready for the podium presentation. And that will take place in just a couple of moments. Down comes the netting on the side of the car to allow the drivers to climb out and go through those technical checks where the driver is weighed as well as the car. The two added up together have to come to the minimum weight at the end of the race. So fairly busy Parc Ferme area, and celebrations will ensue in due course. It's difficult to describe just how many photographers are here from around the world. You'll see it grow and grow over the day. They line up on the pit wall just opposite this hugely impressive podium. That's a new podium built for last year here at Macau, including a huge LED screen that shows the action to the fans in the grandstand opposite the starting grid, and also carries the names of all the partners and sponsors of the Macau Grand Prix, of which there are many from the region, and quite right too. They offer invaluable support for what is a huge sporting event here at Macau. That's what it means to be a winner. You get lifted up in the air, and the team so keen to congratulate Max Hart. Many said to keep an eye on Max over the course of this weekend, and with good reason. He takes a win and hugs all around in Parc Ferme.
It was a really impressive drive there for somebody that's not had a great season. He's not been here before. Everything just came right for him, didn't it? And it was an excellent performance there.
It really was. And now the obligatory technical checks, the car being weighed, the driver being weighed with race suit on and helmet on, and now he can afford to have a drink and take off the helmet, get himself ready in the morning sunshine here at Macau. Just there's the big broad smile. Wow, it's so cool to see the celebration of drivers. They know what they've achieved when they've I think it's fair to say, if you've done 9 laps around the gear circuit at Macau, you know all about it, and Max Hart does know all about it. As he makes his way over towards the gate, shepherded by one of the team of organisers. Huge amount of people go in to put this event together, and they do it so well.
And the other thing is they take no prisoners when it comes to getting drivers in a hurry to the podium, do they? You know, you are coming now. It doesn't matter who wants to celebrate with you. You're coming. We've got to get this podium underway.
I have to say, when I first started doing this job, it was always stadium first, television second. So the podium would always take place. ITV's coverage of the BT City has changed that over in the UK, because the television camera's going first and the podium comes quite a way after the end of the race. But here at Macau, the podium is the most important thing to do after the end of the race, and television interviews, press conference interviews all take place afterwards. So heading over towards the podium, a very happy winner, Max Hart. See how warm it is first thing in the morning as well. He's lost a fair bit of fluid over the course of 9 laps around the gear circuit, and very important rehydration. Remember when I said how quick and seamless the organisation here is at Macau? Already the grid boards are going out for our next race of the day, which is going to be for the Macau 70th Anniversary Challenge. 8 laps, the cars not doing quite the lap times of the Macau Touring Car Cup. 2:30s around the gear circuit for the Macau Touring Car Cup. We'll be looking at probably 2 mid-40s for the largely dominated Toyota Macau 70th Anniversary Challenge, but also some Subarus in there as well. And the grid boards go out for that second race of the day. After that, we will have the second of our races for the weekend for the Kumho TCR World Tour here at Macau, the Macau Gear Race, the prestigious Macau Gear Race. The programme is a superb programme. Gives you not only information about this weekend, but also about the history of the events and some of the names from the worlds of touring cars that have won the Macau Gear Race. Here are very formidable world-class drivers over the years.
Yes, if you do come to Macau, a trip to the newly reopened and improved museum is well worth it. There's an interesting array of cars, lots of history of the event, of which understandably the Macau SAR is very proud. and it is well worth it. It costs about £8 or something to get in, and it's money well spent, and you'll learn a great deal. And it's not just cars, it's not just photographs, there's lots of memorabilia and waxworks as well, and they're quite outstanding, and we'll come to those no doubt in other races, because when you take, for example, Eduardo Mortara and Rob Huff, amongst those that have a waxwork from Madame Tussauds in there, then you know you've arrived. So, as Alan's been saying, we've got the podium coming up, and of course, slightly overlooked in the fact that Max Hart has won the Macau Touring Car Cup is the fact that we've got a China Touring Car champion. Martin Tao has taken the title, even though he didn't finish the race. So the fact that Jack Young had a disappointing race again, in a sense, rather helped Martin Tao, but he is a champion. So the different celebrations: race win for Max Hart, he'll be ecstatic. Championship win for Martin Tao, or Tao Hongwei, who came here 6 points back from Jack Young in the championship, and he leaves as a champion. The trophy girls now step forward for the trophy presentation for the Macau Touring Car Cup. As I've been saying, it's the last round of the China Touring Car Championship, but for our purposes, the Macau Touring Car Cup, and it is won by Max Hart. The dignitaries will be brought to the podium. The presentation party will be ready. The drivers will be rounded up and then introduced in due course. There's another big team of people making sure that the podiums all work well.
Welcome to the final race day of the 70th Macau Grand Prix, and here comes the first trophy presentation ceremony of the day, which is the Macau Touring Car Cup China Touring Car Championship Race 2. And first of all, let's welcome the top 3 finishers to the podium. On the second runner-up, number 17, Yang Xiaowei from China. Congratulations. And on the first runner-up, number 55, Xie Xinzhe from China. And on the top of the podium, the winner is number 69, Max James Hart from Ireland. Congratulations to the top 3 winners. And now I would like to invite Ms. Irene Wong, Senior Vice President of Public and Community Relations of MGM, to present the laurel to the top 3 winners, please. First, let's welcome Ms. Wong to present the laurel to our second runner-up. And also present the laurel to the first runner-up as well. Thank you, Ms. Wong. Last but not the least, of course, and our winner. Thank you. And would Ms. Wong please remain at the center, take a group photo with the top 3 winners. And would the Greek girls please move to the center as well. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Wong. Thank you very much. And would our winners please remain on the podium, as now I would like to invite Dr. Kent Wong, Chief Advisor, Macau Resorts and Entertainment Limited, to also present the trophies to our top 3 winners as well. Dr. Wong, please. First, let's welcome Dr. Wong to present the trophy to our second runner-up, number 17, Yang Xiaowei from China. Congratulations. And Dr. Wong, please also present the trophy to the first runner-up, number 55, Xie Xinzhe, also from China. And last but not the least, trophy to the winner, number 69, Max James Hart. Congratulations. So Dr. Wong, please take a photo with the top 3 winners. And with the Greek girls, please gather at the center as well. So all the drivers, please look to the front and let's take a photo together. 我们看向前方，一起拍一张合照。好，我们先看前方，谢谢车手。We guess at the drivers, please remain at the podium. I would like to welcome back Ms. Irene Wong to take one more photo with the top 3 winners as well. Thank you. 有请车手们继续留步，我们看向前方，再拍一张合照。Please again look to the front. Thank you all the guests. Thank you very much. Again, drivers, please remain at where you are. 请车手继续留步. Thank you very much. Please remain on the podium. As of course, we have the champagne shower time for our winners of the Macau Touring Car Cup China Touring Car Championship Race 2. Let our audience share your glory moment. Woo! Loud cheers for the top 3 winners! Congratulations! Thank you. Congratulations once again to our top 3 winners of the race.
So the drivers making their way then shortly from the podium, more photographs being taken. And very happy teams, happy engineers, making the trip from Europe worthwhile. So the middle is Max Hart, and with him, Martin Shi, and then for third place, we were saying Zhang Zhaowei. So well done to the winning drivers. The press conference for them beckons, and more racing to come here on the gear circuit. As into the paddock, as we look out of our window, more and more battered cars are being brought. It was a proper touring car race, that, but for 1 or 2, it was just a little bit bruising.